Nejde vůbec jakoby o toho studenta, v podstatě jde jenom o toho lektora. Já nevím, jestli to tady bude. Pardon, jako se takhle.
Tak si to nabrište. Ten zvuk máš, ten vůbec.
Obojí. Musí být actions, musí být tady to vypadá dobře. Jo.
Aha.
Pardon, ne, to je moje.
Já jsem zvědavá, jestli vyhraje ten hod, co nás učil tu jednu lekci.
Co vyhraje?
No, jako to dobrý učení,
jo.
Že je super, ten byl kouzel.
To není o soutěž, to je nejlepší, to je o to, jestli se dodržují pravidla a zásady kamanovky. OK, takže jak jsme skončili, our people always polite in shops and streets. Tady, OK. Are children generally more polite than adults? Are children generally more polite than adults? Yes, no?
No.
Children aren't generally more polite than adults, but they are generally less polite than adults. If you can't answer a question during the lesson, who helps you to answer it? If you can't answer a question during the lesson, who helps you to answer it?
If I can't answer
a question during the lesson, the teacher helps me to answer it. Do husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house? Do husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house?
Yes,
husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house. In the house. If you help me, do you think we can live this table together? If you help me, do you think we can live this table together?
Yes.
If I help you, I think we can lift the table together. Which is the most common drink in this country besides water? Which is the most common drink in this country besides water?
Beer is the most common drink in this country besides water.
Besides water. Have you a fire at home in winter? Have you a fire at home in winter?
Yes, I have a fire
at home in winter. Which is the broadest street in this town? Which is the broadest street in this town?
Jiraskova is
the broadest street
in town.
Street in this town. Who is the richest person you know? Who is the richest person you know?
I am
the richest person I know. Okay, name me one of the poorest countries in the world. Name me one of the poorest countries in the world. Is one of the poorest countries in the world. Do you like reading war stories? Do you like reading war stories?
No,
I don't like reading war stories. Can you express a very simple idea quite well in English? Can you express a very simple idea quite well in English? Yes.
Yes.
I can express a very simple idea quite well in English. Do you think it's easier to express your thoughts in writing or in speaking? Do you think it's easier to express your thoughts in writing or in speaking? I think
that is easier.
It's easier to express my thoughts
in writing.
In writing. What's the past of speak? What's the past of speak? The past?
The past
of speak is
spoke.
Which language did we speak during the last lesson? Which language did we speak during the last lesson? We spoke English during the last lesson. Past of come is?
Came.
What time did you come here last lesson? What time did you come here last lesson?
I came here at 6 o'clock
last lesson. Past of break is?
Broke.
Did you ever break an arm or a leg when you were a child? Did you ever break an arm or a leg when you were a child?
No, I never broke my leg
or an arm when I was
a child.
What did you wear yesterday? I wore my shoes, my skirts,
my over
yesterday. Did I write anything on this piece of paper last lesson?
Yes,
you wrote something. Pozor, something Think on that
on that
piece
piece
of paper.
last
lesson. Did I? What time did you get up this morning? What time did you get up this morning?
I got up
at
7
o'clock this morning. Did we stand up after the last lesson? Did we stand up after the last lesson? Yes.
Yes.
We stood up after the last
lesson.
after the last lesson. After the last
After the last
lesson. Did the sun shine last week? Did the sun shine last week?
Yes,
The sun
shone
last week. What did you take home with you after the last lesson? What did you take home with you after the last lesson?
my bag after this.
Home with me.
Home with me
after the last
lesson.
lesson. Did you tell me your name? Did you tell me your name?
Yes.
I told you
my
name. Did I drive here this evening? Did I drive here this evening? Yes.
Yes, I drove.
You.
I wrote it down. Yes, you
drove here this evening. Did you remember all the new words last lesson from the lesson before that? Did you remember all the new words last lesson from the lesson before that?
No, I didn't remember
all the new words.
All the new
words last lesson from the lesson before that. But some I remembered and some I forgot. What time did you? What did you see in this classroom last lesson? What did you see in this classroom last lesson? I saw some pictures, some chairs, etc. In this classroom last lesson. Where did you sit during the last lesson? Where did you sit during the last lesson?
I sat in
here. I sat here.
I sat here
during the
last
lesson. What did you eat for your lunch yesterday? What did you eat for your lunch yesterday?
I ate
some
tomatoes
for my
and other vegetables.
Vegetables. For my lunch.
For my lunch
yesterday. Did I give you a dictation last month?
Yes.
You gave me a dictation last month. When did last season begin? Last season began on the 23rd of December. What did you drink with your breakfast this morning? I drank some coffee with my breakfast this morning. How long did you sleep last night? I slept. 7 hours, 8 hours? 7 hours last night. Are there any hills around this town?
Yes, there are some hills around
this town. Do you like horses?
Yes, I like horses.
What kind of films make you laugh? The kind of films that make me laugh are comedies. Were England and America enemies during the last World War?
No, England and America weren't
enemies during the last World War, but they were friends. Are there any old castles in this town?
Yes,
there is one old castle in this town. Do you think it's easy to stop smoking? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's easy to stop smoking. Are you hungry at the moment?
No, I'm not hungry at the moment.
Are there a lot of hungry people in some parts of the world today?
Yes, there are
a lot of hungry
people
in some parts of the world today. Tell me a geographical fact. Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Tell me a historical fact.
the
Second
Second
World
World War.
World War began in
1939.
39. Tell me a mathematical fact. Tell me a mathematical fact.
1 plus 1
equals 5. 2. What are 5 of the meanings of the verb get? What are 5 of the meanings of the verb get? 5 of the meanings of the verb get are become, earn, reach, arrive, and buy. I will ask you a question with the verb get, and you answer with the verb of the same meaning. When you get hungry, what do you do? When you get hungry, what do you do? When I
am hungry.
When I become hungry, when I
become hungry, I
eat.
eating.
I eat. About how much does a doctor get a month? About how much does a doctor get a month? A doctor earns about 50,000 crowns a month. Can you get that book without standing up? Can you get that book without standing up?
Yes.
No, I can't reach that book without standing up. What time do you generally get home after each lesson? What time do you generally get home after each lesson? I generally arrive home at about 8 o'clock after each lesson. Can I get clothes from a cigarette shop?
No, you can't
buy clothes from a cigarette shop. Was there a picture on that wall 3 lessons ago?
Yes.
There was a picture on that wall 3 lessons ago. Were there any books on the table last lesson?
Yes,
There were some books on the table last lesson. Was there a chair in that corner during the last lesson?
No,
There wasn't a chair in that corner during the last lesson. Were there any chairs on the table last lesson?
No.
There weren't any chairs on the table last lesson. What's the opposite of the verb to live? The opposite of the verb to live. Verb to live. Ne live, ale live. Is to die. Do most people prefer to die young? No, most people don't prefer to die young, but they prefer to die old. When did President Kennedy die? President Kennedy died in 1963. Is whiskey a weak drink? No, whiskey isn't a weak drink, but it's a strong drink. Are young boys generally physically stronger than men?
No, young boys
aren't generally physically stronger than men, but they are generally physically weaker than men. Do you speak English with a strong Chinese accent?
No,
I don't speak English with a strong Chinese accent, but I speak it. But I speak it with Czech accent. Ne accent, accent.
Accent.
Accent. Does a soldier make a lot of money these days? Does a soldier make a lot of money these days? Soldier, bojak. Does a soldier make a lot of money these days?
Yes.
A soldier
makes
a lot of money these days. Is it cheap to build a large house in the country? Is it cheap to build a large house in the country?
No,
It isn't cheap to build
a
a large house in the country, but it's
very
expensive. Do you fill your stomach completely when you eat? Do you fill your stomach completely when you eat?
Yes.
I fill my stomach completely when I eat. About how many pages does this book contain? About how many pages does this book contain? That book contains about 200 pages. Are you very good at art? Are you very good at art?
No, I am not very good at art.
Which country do you think has the largest army in the world today? Which country do you think has the largest army in the world today? I think China has the largest army in the world today. Do you always feel in good health? Do you always feel in good health?
Yes,
I always feel in good health. Do you feel bad if you eat too much? Do you feel bad if you eat too much?
Yes, I feel bad if I eat too much.
Do you feel hot in winter? Do you feel hot in winter?
No,
I don't feel hot in winter. But I feel cold in winter. What part of the square is this? What part of the square is this? It's the top of the square. Where's the letter E? Where's the letter E?
The letter E is in
the top right-hand corner of the square. Where's the letter I? Where's the letter I? The letter I is in the bottom left-hand corner of the square. Where's the letter U? Where's the letter U? The letter U is in the middle of the square. Or do people drive their cars in the middle of the road? Do people drive their cars in the middle of the road?
No, people don't drive
their cars in the middle of the road, but in most countries, in most countries they drive them on the right hand side of the road. What's hanging from the middle of the ceiling? What's hanging from the middle of the ceiling? The lights? Hanging. Bez toho ne. Hanging. Bez toho ne. Hanging. Vy tam říkáte hanging. To je jazyk na
jako když chcete říct to G, ale spolknete ho.
Hanging je lepší. Hanging. Jakoby hanging, ale bez toho G. Tak. No, ale to G prostřední spolknout. Radši si G, jo, a zkuste pokoušet se ho vypouštět. Hanging. No? Hanging. No, a je to hanging from the ceiling. Jo, from the ceiling. What's your name?
My name is Míla Knoblochová.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Are you quite sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
How many years have you?
I have 2 years.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Yes, I am sure.
Yes, I'm sure.
Are you quite sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
Do we say please in English at the beginning of a request? No. We don't say. We don't say please in English at the beginning of a request. But we say it. We say it at the end of a request. Is it polite not to say please when we make a request? Is it polite not to say please when we make a request?
No, it isn't polite
not to say
please
when we
make
a request. But it's impolite. Are you always willing to help other people? Are you always willing to help other people?
Yes, I'm always
willing to help other people. Are you willing to give me all the money you have in your pocket at the moment? Are you willing to give me all the money you have in your pocket at the moment? No.
No,
I am not.
I am
not
willing
to give you
all the
money I have in my pocket at the moment. What's the past of leave? What's the past of leave? The past?
The past of leave
is left. What time did you leave home to come here today? What time did you leave home to come here today?
I left my home at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock
To come here today.
to come here
today. Past of smell is
smell.
Smelled. Okay. Did your lunch smell bad yesterday? Did your lunch smell bad yesterday?
No, my lunch
Didn't smell
bad
yesterday.
But
it smelled good.
good.
Did you learn any new words last week? Did you learn any new words last week? Yes. I learned some new words. Words. They're birds, I like words. Last week. Did you send any emails to your friends last year?
Yes, I
sent
to a step. I sent
some emails
to my friends
last year. Did you know me 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I
Knew you 2 weeks
2 weeks
ago. Did that picture hang on that wall last lesson? Yes. That picture. Picture hung on that wall last lesson. Did we read these books last week?
Yes,
we read these books last week. Who was the last person you met before coming to school?
Jana was the last person
I met
before
coming to
lesson.
school. Did you feel cold last summer?
No, I
didn't feel cold last summer, but I felt hot last summer. Did you hear me to say good evening to you at the beginning of the lesson? Did you hear me to say good evening to you at the beginning of the lesson? Did you hear me to say good evening to you at the beginning of the lesson? Yes, I heard you to say good evening to us at the beginning of this lesson. What did I hold in my hand last lesson? You held a pen in your hand last lesson. What did you bring with you to the lesson today? I brought my book and my pen to the lesson today. Where did you buy your clothes from? I bought my clothes from a clothes shop. Did you go to the cinema last year?
Yes, I went to the cinema last year.
Who was the last person you shook hands with?
Yeah.
Who was the last person you shook hands with? Mr.
Janacek.
Was the last person I shook my hands with. What did I say to you at the end of the last lesson? You said goodbye to us at the end of the last lesson. Did you think the last film you saw was a good one?
Yes, I
thought the last film
that the last film
I saw was a
was a good
good one. Did you think English pronunciation was difficult when you first began studying English? Did you think English pronunciation was difficult when you first began studying English?
Yes.
I thought English pronunciation was difficult. Was difficult. When I first began studying English. Did your parents teach you to wash and dress when you were a child? Did your parents teach you to wash and dress when you were a child?
Yes, my parents
taught
me
to wash and dress when I was
a
a child. Did you make any mistakes in your last dictation? Did you make any mistakes in your last dictation?
Yes.
I made some mistakes. Some mistakes in my last dictation. Do you ever mistake the difference in pronunciation between the words walk and work? Do you ever mistake the difference in pronunciation between the words walk and work?
Yes.
I sometimes mistake the difference
between the
in pronunciation between the words walk and work. Did you hear the news on the radio yesterday?
Yes,
I heard the news
on the radio yesterday.
How often do they give the news on the radio each day? They give the news on the radio every hour each day. What's the difference between wireless and radio? There is no difference between wireless and radio. Do you ever feel ill?
No,
I never feel ill. When you feel ill, what do you do? When I feel ill,
I go to bed.
and call a doctor. When was the last time you felt ill? The last time I felt ill was last winter. Last winter. What's the opposite of ill?
the opposite of ill is well.
Do people generally feel well when the weather is bad? No.
No,
People don't
generally
feel well when the weather is bad, but they sometimes feel ill. They sometimes feel ill, okay? Are you thirsty at the moment?
No.
I am not thirsty
At
at the moment. What do you do when you feel thirsty? When I feel thirsty, I drink. What's your favorite drink when you feel very thirsty?
beer is my favorite drink when I
Feel very thirsty. What's the opposite of the verb to buy? The opposite of the verb of the verb to buy is to sell. In what kind of shops do they generally sell umbrellas? They generally sell umbrellas
in shoe shops.
Do they sell food in clothes shops?
No,
They don't sell food in clothes shops, but they sell clothes. Very good. And open your books and we are doing reading. Paragraph number. Tak, začneme číst 4, jo? Můžeme.
Meat. What are my fingers doing?
My fingers
doing. Your fingers are meeting. When you go to meet somebody, do you always
arrive
early? No, when I go No, when I go to meet somebody, I don't always arrive
Arrive
early,
early.
but sometimes